Good evening and welcome to tonight's council meeting. Clerk will call the roll, please.
Sedlacek.
Present.
Markham.
Here.
Williams.
Here.
Nelson.
Here.
Fernsler. Hildebrand.
Here.
Hanson.
Present.
Fowler.
Present.
Let the record show we have a quorum. Next item is the agenda, on the agenda is the pledge. Please stand. I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Next item on the agenda is the approval of the consent agenda. Chair will entertain a motion.
So moved, Alderman Markham. Second, Alderman Sedlacek.
We have a first and a second. Any discussion? Clerk will call the roll, please.
Hanson.
Yes.
Sedlacek.
Yes.
Williams.
Yes.
Hildebrand.
Yes.
Markham.
Yes.
Fowler.
Yes.
Nelson.
Yes.
Motion carried. Thank you. Next item is the audience portion where citizens sign up ahead of time and are recognized by the chair. It's where you do the talking and we do the listening. And tonight, one person has signed up, Todd Niles. Todd?
Almost fell over. Mr. Mayor and Council, I'm here representing St. Vincent de Paul Society for Plymouth. And item number 5, you are going to be looking at our initial resolution for their expansion at their facility. I think the plans were already approved by the Planning Commission. I think it's a great addition. They're growing my way towards the bank, and I like that, and I'm going to help them fund that. It'll be a bank-held bond, so the financing stays within the community as well. I think the expansion will allow them to expand some of their youth services and the food pantry and make it a little bit easier for us all to drop off a lot of donated items. So certainly appreciate your consideration and would love to have a yes vote to move forward. Thank you for your time.
Thank you very much. Again, we encourage citizens to come forward and make comments to the council on items of concern, and that's where we get to do the listing. Moving on, item 5, resolutions. Resolution number 15, consideration of an initial resolution regarding industrial development revenue bond financing for the Society of St. Vincent de Paul of Plymouth Incorporated. Information with respect to the job impact of the project will be available at the time of consideration of the initial resolution. I would reiterate the comment made in the public portion by Todd Niles that the Plan Commission has approved this and sent it on to the council. So at this point, the only approval necessary is at the council level. So with that, Alderman Hanson, did you have a question?
I move the approval of resolution 15 in consideration of the contract.
Second.
We have a first and a second to approve resolution 15 as stated. Any discussion? Any fine points, Attorney Fever, you want to mention to us in the agreement, or Administrator Yergis?
I would just stress that this isn't debt of the city. This is kind of a pass-through in a sense, and so it doesn't affect the city's ratings or its ability to borrow. And all of that's spelled out in the summary that the council has in the packet, as well as in the resolution itself. I know this isn't the first resolution that you've seen, so I think you're familiar with the process. This is the initial resolution. It signifies the council's intent to move forward with the borrowing, and then you'll see the final resolution after the bond has been negotiated. So you'll see this again.
Any other questions? Clerk will call the roll, please.
Nelson.
Yes.
Hildebrand.
Yes.
Fowler.
Yes.
Markham.
Yes.
Hanson.
Yes.
Sedlacek.
Yes.
Williams.
Yes.
Motion carried. Thank you. Next item is items removed from the consent agenda. Number 6, no items were removed from the consent agenda. Moving on, item 7, committee reports and actions. Public Works and Utility Committee recommendation from June 9th, 2015. Approve downtown pavement marking removal for additional parking spaces and award a low bid to Goldsmith Painting and Cleaning in the amount of $2,765 with monies to come from the Capital Projects Fund. The chair will entertain a motion so we can discuss.
So move to accept the low bid
In the amount of
in
$2,765.
the amount of $27.65, yes.
Second, Alderman Markle.
We have a first and a second. Any discussion? Clerk will call the roll.
Hanson.
Yes.
Fowler.
Yes.
Sedlacek.
Yes.
Markham.
Yes.
Williams.
Yes.
Nelson.
Yes.
Hildebrand.
Yes.
Motion carried. Thank you. New business, approve Family Day event to benefit the Plymouth Police and Fire Departments on Saturday, July 18th from 8 o'clock a.m. to 4:30 p.m. and approve closing the East Municipal Parking Lot from entrance west of Brown Bottle, south to Stair Park, and east to the parking ramp, closing off the ramp to the upper parking ramp. I'll ask Chief Tauschek maybe to give us a comment on that. And then the organizer, our downtown business manager, Randy Schwer, is here, and the chair will allow any additional comments from Mr. Schwer. Chief?
Randy's idea to come up with this event, and he approached myself and Chief Fellows and some other members of the business community, and it sounded like a good idea. It's an opportunity, not only that we're benefiting the police and fire departments, but we're also benefiting the downtown business area. We're bringing more people to the downtown area, which will give us exposure to your murals. And also, quite a few businesses have sponsored flowers, the flower pots, and there's a lot of opportunity in businesses that people may or may not be aware of. And it's a family event focusing on family activities where kids and their parents, aunts, uncles, grandparents can come up, and some of the items there will be a squad car, motorcycle, some fire trucks, some farm implements, backhoes, dump trucks, things like that a lot of young people like to see. So it's not only the business community in Plymouth, but also outside areas are coming together. We're gonna have a record there from a record service in Sheboygan and things like that. So it's actually a hands-on activity and also other activities. There's gonna be big wheel racing, some face painting, there'll be food that they can eat, a little cheese block that you can, in a floating tank that kids can pick up, and we'll have opportunities that they can get a ride to school in a squad car, or fire truck, or some free ice cream cones and things like that.
Okay.
And we're still working on trying to get a few more items. I don't know if Randy has anything else he'd like to add, but I think it'd be a nice event. There's never been anything like that in the downtown area that I can remember, especially focusing on a family issue.
Chief Fellows, do you have anything to add to that?
No, we've been working on it, and I think it's coming together really well. I think it'll be a good event for downtown and promoting police, fire, and other businesses.
Okay, good. The chair will allow Randy Schwer to have a comment on it.
Both of the chiefs have touched pretty much on everything that we're doing, but this event came together because of the situation with the dog, and now for the maintenance of the vehicle and the dog and everything that's growing, plus the need for another piece of fire equipment or a truck. And this is a totally new concept for anybody in the county that I'm aware of, the Touch a Truck program. And we'll have about 25 units down there, and like a Sargento semi, just things that every kid has seen when they're riding in the car and gone, wow, I want to see that. The big wheel race, We're also running the Grand Prix of cheese, where we're going to drop 1,000 pieces of cheese, of styrofoam cheese in the river, in the Mullet, and we'll be having a raffle for those, and it's $5. And if your cheese wins, you win $500. So that one means a lot to us. We'll have donation locations around the facility. So at the end, I have a gentleman in the community who stepped up and said, if you can raise $4,000, what he technically called $2,000 aside, you can shave my mutton chop sideburns. So, Mayor, I appreciate your commitment to this effort. And everybody wants to be involved with the cutting of them. So we do believe that we should be able to reach that. That incentive seems to have done a lot. I mean, everybody loves a cute dog, but I thank you for being that committal that day on the street that we spoke.
Are we on topic yet?
And I do want to say one other thing, just as in closing. Carol O'Malley's here and Patrick's here, and Patrick Campbell, and this committee has been just amazing. And I want to thank both the chiefs. They've been amazing. We meet every week, and every week, today I called somebody after the meeting and said, man, we added 3 more things today. This is just, it's getting so cool. It's going to be a great event. But I also want to take a minute to thank you and everybody on the city council for your support on Taste of Plymouth. We did have rain, but we had an amazing turnout. With the rain, we had an amazing turnout, and we all kind of feel lucky because none of us expected that turnout in the dry. We had the turnout we had hoped we'd get if it was dry. We had it in the rain. We sold out more food. We did a ton of stuff, and we raised some significant money for generations as well as for the DPA downtown. But thank you for the opportunity, and we keep hearing how great that was, and people are already asking when it's going to be again. So that support from you has made that possible. So I don't know,
Good.
did I forget anything, gentlemen? Okay. You have any
Good.
questions or anything?
Thank you.
Okay.
Appreciate it. We have a first and a second already, right? Okay. The chair will entertain a motion.
So moved, Alder Marco.
Second, Hildebrand.
We have a first and a second to approve Family Day event as indicated. Any additional discussion or questions? Clerk will call the roll, please.
Hildebrand,
Yes.
Nelson,
Yes.
Marco,
Yes.
Fowler,
Yes.
Williams,
Yes.
Sedlacek.
Yes.
Hanson.
Yes.
Motion carried. Thank you. Thank you for all your work. Appreciate it. Thank you, Chief and Chief. Item B, approve appointment of Gary Skalak Jr. to the Tree Trimmer Serviceman 2 position for Plymouth Utilities. Administrator Yurgis?
Sure, there's a memo in the packet. This is requesting, I guess, affirmation of a tentative conditional offer of employment. Gary was a finalist about 1.5 to 2 years ago. Gary was one of 2 final candidates that were considered for the position. We could have hired either one would have been qualified applicants. We ended up taking another person who was with us a short time and decided to leave Plymouth Utilities for an investor-owned utility. We made contact with Gary, and he is still interested in the position, and given that it's summer and construction projects and other things going on, the alternative would be to start a recruitment process that would take a minimum of 6 weeks. But given the fact that he's a certified arborist, he's been working in the business since 1996, and that we could have hired him not in the too distant past, we resurrected his application and had a discussion with him, and he is still interested in working for Plymouth Utilities. So that's the request on the agenda tonight, unless you have any questions for me. Jim Peterson is also in the audience, our electrical operations manager, if you have any questions for him.
Good description. Chair will entertain a motion so we can discuss.
So move, Alder Hanson.
Second, Alder Marco.
We have a first and a second to approve the appointment as indicated. Any additional questions? Clerk will call the roll, please.
Williams,
Yes.
Nelson.
Yes.
Hildebrand.
Yes.
Hanson.
Yes.
Fowler.
Yes.
Sedlacek. Markham.
Yes.
Motion carried, thank you. Item C is deleted off of the agenda this evening.
And I'll just, can I just tell why?
Go ahead, yeah.
There was a request for a shared savings loan program for an energy project at Anytime Fitness. They are moving forward with the project, they just decided to pay cash for the project and not have a loan, so.
So it's not needed. Good, thank you. Item D, discussion regarding pedestrian crossing at Bruins and Eastern Avenue. I'll ask our Public Works Director, Bill Emig, to comment on the change that he made there at a request of the mayor and some of the information you found out about the standard and so on.
Sure. Mayor Pullman contacted me maybe 2 weeks ago or a week and a half ago about a situation where a resident was crossing the road in a wheelchair, no less, and nobody was stopping for him. The mayor actually stopped, helped him get across the street, and then said we need to do something to make this more visible. We do have one of those yellow stop for pedestrian signs right in the middle of the road there. We have since painted the crosswalk, and we actually hatched it so it's more visible. The mayor, in an email from the mayor, he asked me to paint it yellow, but that's the reason I passed this out. This is the standard from the manual for uniform traffic devices, that crosswalks are painted white. You can hatch them. We've seen them look like ladders. We've seen them crosswalk. This one, if you've been by there now, it's a little more visible. There is a tree on the south side of the road. I don't know if that's the cause for people not stopping. I mean, it sounds like this guy was halfway across and people weren't stopping, so it doesn't seem like it was a tree in this situation. You know, if you want to have the tree removed, if you want to look at it, you know, we can always address that. But just kind of give you an update, you know, now that we've approved the line removal downtown, we'll be getting the downtown painted. We've been waiting for the county to come and do our center lines. They should be here next week. For whatever reason, they always used to do Plymouth early in the year, and because Sheboygan had their own paint truck. Well, Sheboygan now hires the county like we do, and so we get bumped back because of the city of Sheboygan, and this has been going on for probably 5 years. So if you're wondering, you know, why things aren't getting painted sooner, that's one of the reasons. The other reason is we had a couple guys painting, and one of our painters is now a meter reader, so we're kind of, you know, working around that. And but we will be getting crosswalks throughout the city painted here shortly, the arrows and the center lines, and hopefully people realize that you know, it is state law. If somebody's in a pedestrian crosswalk, stop your car. And you know, maybe the police department needs to enforce it more if this is an ongoing problem. So I'll leave
Good.
that up to the mayor and the police chief. So thank you. Any
Thank-
questions?
Thank you, Bill. I appreciate checking into that quickly. That certainly is one thing we don't want to have in the paper is an accident waiting to happen. So that's a good thing, and we have some other crosswalks within the city that may be appropriate as well, and certainly we'll pay attention to those. So thank you very much on that. Item E, announced citizen appointment to the Plan Commission. This afternoon, I received word that that person is now a snowbird as of February. And so if I could take a little liberty here and ask for anyone interested in being on the Plan Commission to contact Pete Schreierman or the mayor's office, and certainly we look at filling that position. There is a term that is unexpired, and it would fill that particular term. So we are looking for someone on the Plan Commission. Thank you for that. Item 9, Chair will entertain a motion to go into closed session pursuant to Wisconsin statute 19.85 paren 1 paren G, conferring with legal counsel for the governmental body who is rendering oral or written advice concerning strategy to be adopted. Let the record show that we are now back in open session. Next item on the agenda is item 11, discussion and action regarding claim for excessive assessment from RCG Plymouth LLC. Chair will entertain a motion.
Mr. Mayor,
Alderman Kozlacek.
I would like to make a motion to have the city administrator execute the agreement with RCG for a claim for excessive assessment for $75,023 and for the funds to come from the city's general fund reserve.
We have a first, do we have a second? We have a second. Any discussion? Clerk will call the roll, please.
Sedlacek?
Yes.
Markham?
yes.
Williams?
Yes.
Nelson?
Yes.
Hildebrand?
Yes.
Hanson?
Yes.
Fowler?
Yes.
Motion carried. Thank you. Item 12, discussion and action regarding claim against the city from Benjamin Lizaway in the amount of $2,523.13. The chair will entertain a motion. Maybe before we entertain the motion, we should read into the record the opinion of Thomas Mann from Sivnik on our insurance, and also Attorney Fiebert. Clerk Huberty, would you do that, please?
From Tom Mann of Sivnik, I am in receipt of the above claim that has been filed against the city of Plymouth in the amount of $2,523.13 by Trover Solutions Incorporated for damages resulting from a tree falling on the Benjamin Lizaway property. Based on the information that I have received, it would be my recommendation that this claim be denied. I have been informed that this tree was inspected and trimmed in 2014 and that there was no indication that there was a problem with this particular tree and that the branch that fell looked healthy. As such, I would contend that the city had no notice of a defect and is using reasonable care with the inspection process, and as such is meeting the standard of reasonable care, which is the standard that municipalities are held to for these types of claims. I would therefore recommend that the city formally deny this claim and a formal denial letter be sent.
And then the corresponding letter from Attorney Fiebert.
I recommend that the above-mentioned claim be denied. I have reviewed the notice of claim and the email correspondence from the Director of Public Works and City Engineer.
Okay, thank you. Now, the chair will entertain a motion.
Mr. Mayor, I make a motion to deny the claim against the city from Benjamin Lizaway in the amount of $2,523.13.
Second.
We have a first and a second to deny the claim. Any additional questions or comments? Clerk will call the roll.
Fowler?
Yes.
Markham?
Yes.
Hanson?
Abstain?
Nelson?
Yes.
Sedlacek?
Yes.
Hildebrand?
Yes.
Williams?
Yes.
Motion carried. Thank you. Next item, motion to adjourn.
So moved. Second.
We have a first and a second. All